Imagine living in a country where its people wholeheartedly believe in the American dream, a land of opportunity, progress, and freedom. Now, envision that very land of dreams turning into a nightmare of homelessness, a place where retired teachers sleep under bridges, elderly veterans hold their heart medications and pray for no rain. An old man who paid taxes all his life sits crushed on the sidewalk tonight, saying, "I just wanted a roof over my head." His story is not about statistics. It's about individuals who are quietly, silently, and with dignity being driven from their homes to the streets. Here is where dreams freeze in the cold. America, once a symbol of success and power for many years, now has another face. A face that the media often shows less frequently. The face of homelessness. Behind the shining towers of New York, in the shadow of Los Angeles skyscrapers, and amidst the streets of San Francisco, thousands of elderly individuals spend their lives in makeshift tents, under bridges, and in park corners. They were once part of the workforce that built this country. Retired teachers, factory workers, nurses, and veterans. But today, they are part of a statistic that grows quieter and more tragic each day. Homelessness in America is no longer just a result of addiction or unemployment. It is a structural issue. Inflation, rising rental costs, a shortage of affordable housing, and decreased government support have all combined to push the elderly out of the realm of living with ease. Imagine someone in their 70s with a meager pension, living in a city where the average rent for a one-bedroom apartment exceeds their monthly income. What choice do they have? Buy medication or pay rent? For many, medication takes priority, and rent falls behind. That moment marks the beginning of their downfall. In the streets of Los Angeles, many of the homeless are elderly. The story of John, a retired math teacher, is just one of thousands. John says, "Until 3 years ago, I was still living in my house. Then, rent went up. I could no longer afford it. I found a part-time job, but it wasn't enough. One morning, an eviction officer came, and from that day on, I had nowhere to go." Now, John sleeps on a bench at night, has a small radio, and each morning, he bittersweetly says, "I convinced myself this is a kind of freedom." The crisis of youth homelessness is also quietly serious. A generation struggling with student debt, living costs, and fierce competition in the job market. In a country that has told them since childhood, "You can do it, just try hard." Now many of them live on the streets because one bill exceeded their paycheck, or a brief illness prevented them from working. Yet amidst this darkness lies a deeper issue: collective indifference. A society that prides itself on individualism now sees its members forgotten one by one. Passers-by walk past park tents, avert their gazes, and in their minds think, they chose this. But did they really choose it? Did they choose to work and still be unable to afford housing? Did they choose to prefer old age and loneliness over comfort? These questions are more painful than any images. A Official statistics indicate that the number of elderly homeless individuals in America has increased by over 40% in the past 5 years. In cities like New York, street camps have grown as large as actual neighborhoods. Reports show that some elderly people have to have their medications to have more money left for food. Others sleep on the warm ground of subway stations at night to escape the cold, while their safety is at risk every moment. And amidst this crisis, there is another painful contradiction: wealth. In the same country where billions of dollars are spent on weapons and luxury projects, millions of people lack even a warm bed. This disparity breaks the hearts of many observers. Experts say the homelessness crisis in America is no longer just a social problem. It is a national wound that deepens day by day. The roots may be economic, but the consequences are human. Elderly homelessness is not merely an economic failure. It is a moral failure. It shows that a society once focused on individual success has now fallen short in supporting human frailty. When an elderly person is forced to sleep on the street, we must ask ourselves, did the system succeed or fail? In the midst of this, many volunteer organizations are making efforts. Charitable shelters, religious groups, and even young people who have launched support campaigns are all trying to help. However, limited capacity, low budgets, and a continuously growing homeless population make the work challenging. Each day, more individuals join the waiting lines for shelters, while the number of available beds remains constant. At night, in the streets of California, the sound of rain can be heard. Some cover themselves with thin blankets, while others stay awake to protect their medications from theft until morning. When the sun rises, the city once again reveals its shiny facade, and urban life continues as if nothing has happened. But the reality is far different. This crisis is growing, and if we do not approach it with humanity, it will soon become a silent disaster. The homelessness crisis is not just a housing crisis. It is a crisis of empathy, a crisis of attention, a crisis of being forgotten. Behind every makeshift tent you see at the street corner lies a life, a memory, a part of this country's past. It is time to think about our humanity again. If even one person is homeless in the land of dreams, that dream is still unfulfilled. Homelessness is not the end. It is a point where society must begin anew, with empathy, with the right policies, and by recognizing individuals once again. If this video has moved you, share it so that perhaps someone who can make a difference will see it. Empathy is the beginning of change. This is the voice of the streets, and now our voice must be heard as well.